This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you, and today we're taking a look at the EZ from Ude. It's a new RTA. Before we get into this new offering from Ude, I do want to take a moment to remind you that we all have a part to play in the fight against big tobacco, big pharma, and the deeming regulations that are looming over our heads. So that means if you're on social media, remember to paint the best possible image of the vape community. If you're a shop owner or work in a shop, remember to educate your customers because a lot of them don't know about the deeming regulations and what's happening right underneath their nose. And continue to support all of CASAA's calls to action, including that to support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment. Because if they all get their way, we won't be seeing products like this much longer. On the surface, it's pretty much your standard run-of-the-mill RTA. Just looking at it, it doesn't look too unique. It's got the EZ emblem up there in the middle. The moment I hear the word simple or easy, so a lot of times I start thinking beginners and novice. And RTAs for the novice, I don't know. Marketed as like that first RTA that you get when you're transitioning away from sub-ohm tanks, maybe? I don't really know. Maybe that's the idea behind it, but I gotta tell you, in terms of performance, it doesn't perform like a starter device. It performs pretty well. When the EZ arrived, it came in this black box depicting the atomizer on the front. Along the side it said Unification of Design, Ude, and on the side it says EZ, the letter E, the letter Z. Get it? It's cute. And on the back of the box there's some specifications and some information about what comes in the box and how the device works and a diagram of how to set it up. It's a lot of information just on the back of the box alone. And then when you open up the box, you've got your RTA sitting inside of this red insert. It's 49.8 millimeters in height without the drip tip, 22 millimeters in diameter. It's a smaller RTA compared to a lot of the RTAs in the market these days, in that it's just a 22 millimeter RTA. You don't see a whole lot of 22 millimeter RTAs anymore. These days it's a lot of 24, 25, all that kind of stuff, and everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. It looks like you decided to keep it with the 22, which I kind of like, honestly. I like that someone's still making things that's going to fit nicely on anything I have. Awesome. And it's got this sort of unique design going on within the drip tip, this sort of spiral thing going on. It's kind of different. I don't think it adds a whole lot. Maybe it's supposed to create some sort of cyclone effect when it's just coming up. A cyclone effect on the drip tip? Really? Psh, no way that works. I don't really feel that personally, but it's still interesting that they tried to implement that. And it's actually a pretty comfortable drip tip as far as metal drip tips go. And aside from your interesting drip tip, you also get the top to your juice fill port. You get your tank, which houses your chimney and your juice fill port itself, and you also get your deck. So on the surface, the EZ is nothing too different by the look of it, but where it gets a little bit more unique, a bit more easy. Do you just say where the EZ gets a bit more easy? Goober. A bit more catering toward that novice crowd is with the accessories. It comes with a lot, like a ridiculous amount of accessories. Just ridiculous. Yeah, we got coils for days. This RTA comes with so much stuff aside from just your run-of-the-mill tank. You get a bunch of pre-made coils here. You get 5 pairs of coils, 10 coils in total, which are pre-stuffed with cotton. You also get a ceramic block to turn this dual airflow RTA into a single airflow RTA. And you also get some extra O-rings, some extra grub screws, and you get a very basic manual which tells you the ins and outs of the tank, how to fill it, how to build it, etc. But again, the big thing for me is all the extra coils and the extra materials for actually getting your RTA up and running for the new builder that doesn't want to sit around and make coils for the first time. And it comes with Clapton coils as well. Lots of different coil options just right inside the box, which I think is pretty unique. You don't really see that a whole lot. And they're all pre-stuffed with cotton. And Ude also sent over these, another bunch of pre-built coils. And it definitely looks to me like Ude is placing a lot of the responsibility of building your coils squarely in their hands. They also sent me on over these 3 items, 2 little tubes filled with pre-made coils, one a bunch of Claptons and one a bunch of straight wire coils. And they also sent over this little container which has a bunch of cotton and more pre-built coils. So you definitely wants to be building your coils from now on. And actually what I have in here are two of the clapped-in coils that are from right here. And they perform very, very well. There's no sort of weird foreign taste to the Kanthal. They're very, very nice coils. As far as pre-made coils go, I mean, I'm actually very, very happy with this build in here. A dual coil from these clapped-in coils ohms out at just under 0.4 ohms. This is a CNC kit which comes with 5 strips of cotton and 10 coils ready to go. These are 2.8 millimeter diameter coils made up of 26 gauge Kanthal, and each one of the coils will ohm out to 1 ohm. So if you use 2 of them, you're going to get to 0.5 ohms. The clapped-in coils that the EZ comes with are 26 gauge cores clapped in with 32 gauge. They're on a 3 millimeter diameter, and each one ohms out at 0.6. So together, 2 of them, if you're going to do a dual coil, ohms out at 0.3. And it comes with 3 sets of 24 gauge Kanthal, just straight wire, and those will ohm out at 0.3 as well. They are on a 3 millimeter internal diameter as well. Now, you more experienced builders probably have the same thought that I did though. There's a problem with these. A huge glaring problem, like a what were you thinking kind of problem, like, let me give you a moment. Time's up. The issue is that that cotton is already inside the coil. And as convenient as that sounds, what's going to happen if you just place the coil in there with cotton and all and get it all situated and go to fire it, you're going to have a lot of hot spots. That coil hasn't been properly, tweezed. It hasn't been properly fired to get it working properly. It's just not going to work. These coils have never been fired. You can tell just by looking at the coloration of the wire. They're not like they've been pre-fired and pre-shaped and pre-tweezed and gotten all the hot spots out and then whipped with cotton and packaged up. No. And if someone went to use this, they'd just get a dry hit straight to the lung. Would not be fun. Not fun at all. This is a much better implementation, I think. These coils without any wick in them, maybe include wick in the packaging. That would be nice. That's awesome. It's a full package ready to go. You got your coils, you got your wick, you got your tank ready to go. Awesome. The other sort of unique feature about it is the deck. The deck is a 2-post design which kind of reminds me of a praying mantis or a grasshopper when I look at it cross-eyed, because it's got these little antennae that are sticking up at the top of it. And what these antennae do is that they open up your post holes. If you notice, there's no screws on this deck. There's no grub nuts, there's no Phillips head, there's no flathead. What you do is you flick these up to open up your post holes, you place your leads into those holes, and then you flick it back down to close it on up. I have to say that working with this deck is, the thing is when you're making a dual coil, you got to position them both in there before you flick it down, and once you do, it locks them both in, and it's actually not very easy to adjust them once they're locked in there. You pretty much have to open the whole thing up again and then lock it down again. It's just kind of a headache, and they're kind of hard to open, honestly. I appreciate the simplicity of having a deck that doesn't have any screws. I don't know, are they easier than regular screws? Not for me personally, but I'm used to it. Maybe someone that doesn't want to work with a screwdriver, it'd be great. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it, but it's a unique design. I'll say that. It's definitely unique. Wicking the tank is just like wicking the Griffin. When you're wicking it, you basically want to wick all the way down to the bottom of those little wick caverns that are created on the bottom of the deck. And there's this little ring that goes on down over the cotton. Now that ring, if you ask me, is a little bit flimsy. If you squeeze it, it will bend, and I kind of wish it was made a little bit better. Also, in placing it, you kind of have to be careful because it only goes down one way. One of the tabs on the ring is different than all the others, and it kind of acts like a little key and locks it down in there. Put it on the wrong way, you can end up blocking off the juice flow control with that locking ring. So you want to make sure the ring is on correctly. I love the top fill function. It works very well. I basically just close off the juice flow, open up the tank at the top, and those juice fill holes are pretty generous. They work very, very well for filling on up. They do. I mean, it's not like I can fit the whole dropper bottle down in there, but they get the job done. And then open it on back up again. That's it. It's got very decent flavor, very good performance. There's just certain things about packaging, the way that the coils are packaged up, that I wouldn't really recommend. I wouldn't even use these the way that they are. I would mount them, take out the cotton, tweeze everything, then put the cotton back in. Would be the only way that I would use this. That's the only way that makes sense to me. And the way the airflow works is there's 1, 2, 3 airflow holes around the tank. And the thing I don't like about the airflow, and I've seen a few tanks do this recently, I'm not a fan of it, where there's no floor underneath the airflow. That's why I have it on the jelly slice. When it's on the jelly slice, I can basically grip that airflow control very easily and turn it just like this. And it's got 1, 2, 3 airflow holes that close and open respectively as you do that. Say I put it on the home wrecker, for example, and I go to turn this, it becomes way more difficult to adjust that airflow because there's nothing between, the airflow control and the bottom. See, every time I try to adjust that airflow, I end up unscrewing the tank. It's just way harder to grip this way. The way the deck is designed makes it a little bit more difficult for me to place my coils than it should. But I guess, when things are too simple for me, I tend to overthink them. And the way that the coils are packaged, I don't like this with the cotton already in there. Everything else about it's awesome. And I love that it comes with them. For someone just starting with rebuildable tanks, that's pretty cool. You got a bunch of pre-built coils in there ready to go. You don't have to worry about building them. That's neat. It's a nice touch. If you want to continue to see products like this that are geared toward new vapors, if you want to continue to see new vapors out there moving away from cigarettes, remember to support your calls to action, support CASAA, support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment. We all got to do our part. But the tank performs very well and it's got good flavor, so I've got mixed feelings about the tank. That's the EZ from Ude. Till next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, Vapers.